Travis Tritt is his own man in life and in country music. Choosing not to wear a cowboy hat in Nashville, man, that's like wanting to play football without a helmet. But Travis did it, showing off his long locks. But 7 platinum or higher albums, 20 top 10 singles later, I'd say he did all right, even if Waylon Jennings teased him and said, "Son, you need a hat." Well, Travis Tritt dropped by our studio to talk about his great career and how things got started for him all the way back in Marietta, Georgia. Travis, you grew up in Marietta, Georgia. The story is, you got to confirm whether this is true. Your singing career was launched because of the song "Everything is Beautiful" at a Sunday school singing.
That's exactly right.
True?
Ray Stevens, that song was a big hit right about the time that I was in a children's church in our Assembly of God church in Marietta, Georgia. And when that song came about, they wanted me to sing all the lead parts.
How old were you when that happened?
I think I was about 5.
Wow.
Maybe.
So somebody saw talent in you when you were just a little tyke.
Apparently so.
Did you envision at some point in your childhood that you wanted to sing for a living, or was that something that came later on?
Not really for a living. My dad, when I started getting into the music program in our church, my dad said many times to my mother, "You're going to ruin that boy. You're going to ruin that boy." He came from a very strict farm family. Everybody that he knew that played music was too sorry to work. And they all ended up either being drunks or just lazy. And the last thing in the world that he wanted to see happen to his son was that. So he tried to discourage my mother from allowing me to sing or get involved in music.
I'm so glad he was unsuccessful in convincing your mother, because we would have missed some of the great country music of all time.
Well, thank you.
That you continue to make. 30 years is a long time in this business. Most people don't last that long.
To be able to look back now over the last 30 years and realize that it has been a tremendous career.
There was a unique class of artists who broke out in '89. Garth Brooks, Clint Black,
Alan Jackson,
and Travis Tritt. Was there something about the music that you were doing, or something about the manner in which you conducted it, even from a business standpoint, that gave you the ability to last when other people had a 2-year career, never heard of them again?
In that particular group of the class of '89, I kind of stuck out like a sore thumb. And even though I was doing traditional country just like those guys were doing, I also wanted to bring in the other influences that I had growing up, which were obviously the gospel, bluegrass, the southern rock, and the blues influence. And I got a lot of pushback from people in the industry, but the fans loved it.
Yeah.
And I realized very early on that as long as the fans like what you're doing, you must be doing something right.
You understood who your boss was, and it wasn't the music executives, it was the people out there buying the music, loving the music, and making your career what it is. I can't end this without talking about one of the most, I think, remarkable, maybe legacies that you're going to have for the rest of your life and beyond. You brought the Eagles back together, 1993. How in the world did Travis Tritt get the Eagles to speak to each other again after many years of hating each other by their own testimony?
Well, I was part of a album that was a tribute to the Eagles. I got a call one day from their management office, and they said, "We want yours to be the first single to promote the album. We also want to do a video for it. Do you have any idea of what you would like to do for a video?" And off the top of my head, I said, "Yeah, why don't we get the Eagles back together?" And there was dead silence on the other end of the phone.
I'm sure there was.
Dead silence. And somebody said, "Well, we don't know if we could ever make that happen." And I said, "Well, you know, I come from a long line of if you don't ask, you don't get. And what does it hurt to at least ask?" And we got in touch with Don Henley, and Don Henley said, "If Glenn Fry will do it, I'll do it." And Glenn Fry said, "If Don will do it, I'll do it." So we knew if we could get those two, we could probably get the whole group back together. You know, I've never tried to take any credit for making that happen. I just wanted to do a cool video.
Well, you did a little more than that. You brought the Eagles back together. They've only made $1 gazillion in their resurrected career. I think they owe you a cut of that, Travis. You should get a lawyer and go after those guys. They owe you big time. What a great story.
Oh,
you
man.
know, if you never brought the Eagles back together, you've given us Travis Tritt, and for that we are grateful. Your music has filled our minds, ears, hearts, and souls for a long time, and I hope it continues to.
Thank you very
Thank you
much,
for being
Bill.
here. What a pleasure. Billy, thanks so much for coming by, coming to the Star Ranch Restaurant in Gallatin, Tennessee. But before we get to food, let's talk music a little bit.
Absolutely. I love that.
You've had a remarkable career, not just as a performer, but you've written songs for some of the greatest people in the music business. Is there a part of the music business you like more? Performing, writing, and hearing your stuff on the radio, maybe done by some other performer?
People ask me all the time, what do you listen to? And I always say, I really don't listen to music because it's playing in my head 24/7. I'm just trying to get out of my head what's, get on paper what's in my head. So I don't have to do it like a sweatshop like we used to, where you had to write, a song a day. I can take more time and really spend more time on the crafting. And then where it goes from there, usually my routine is I try to get everybody to record it, and if nobody does, then I'll do it.
But Billy, thousands and thousands of people have come to Nashville to make music. Oh boy, now, speaking of making music, I'm gonna ask you questions that are gonna take a long time, so I'll eat and you talk. How's that?
That sounds like a good deal to me.
Is there a song that you've done that turned out to be a huge hit that surprised you that it was turned out to be such a big one?
I had written a song with a Hall of Fame songwriter by the name of Richard Lee, who wrote songs like The Greatest Man I Never Knew, one of the great songs of country music. He had a cancellation one day, and I'm the young guy at the publishing company, afraid to ask any of these top songwriters to write with me, and that day changed my life. We wrote a song called Somewhere in My Broken Heart, which went on to win the 1992 Academy of Country Music Song of the Year. It was one of the top 50 songs voted by the songwriters of the past 50 years by the song, which is the greatest honor I've ever had, because I've never considered myself a songwriter much until I got, to this town, and I fell in love with that craft, and I really did.
We are in Rib City in Cookeville, Tennessee, which, by the way, is the home of Keith Bilbrey. I'm just real disappointed there's not some big billboard outside of town that tells everybody that, because they should. But I'm here with my good friend Aaron Tippin. Aaron, great to see you, my friend.
Glad to be here, brother.
30 years in the music business. A lot of folks don't make it that long.
And honestly, Governor, about year 2, I wondered if I was going to make it to year 3. But, I've been blessed. I'm lucky. I've hung on to this and had great fans through the years. But the support and strength of those folks that love to come hear my music and sing along with me, they're still coming.
Well, you had so many big hits with great lyrics. Kiss This, but Big Boy Toys, another song that every man can just visualize. Do you have a favorite song out of all the ones that you've done?
A song that Thea and I wrote about my dad after he passed away. It's a tune called He Believed. And it's all the things my dad believed in. But on top of all the things he believed in, most of all, he believed in me. And that guy was my hero. My dad was my hero. It's the coolest guy I ever met as far as I'm concerned.
Do you realize how rare it is to have a father who not only was there for you, but who instilled in you that sense of confidence? I've seen you do it in your own sons, and that's world-changing, Aaron.
My dad had a favorite saying, because folks come up and they say, "Wow, Tip, you're raising a great boy there." And he'd say, "I'm not raising a boy, I'm raising a man."
Oh, wow. We're losing that, aren't we, in America?
Yeah, that's a sad thing, I think. We really are. And somebody to teach kids that there comes a time to be tough. Mm-hmm. And you got to suck it up, and you got to run with it. And there's a time you got to be humble, and you got to be peaceful, and you got to be loving. And that's all the things my dad was. My dad didn't tell me he loved me till I was about maybe 24 years old. He was a tough guy. It was all tough love. But he found Christ. And after that, I remember he always said it. And the coolest thing, I finally got to say that to my dad.
Yeah.
Just before he passed away, a couple of weeks, he was coming up for turkey hunting. And I said, all right, Dad, I'll see you later. I love you. He said, I love you. And, you know, my boys, they had trouble with that when they were really young. They'd get out of the car and I'd say, love you, boys. You know, and they said, see you, Dad. You know, and they'd get out and their friends would be standing around. One morning, I pulled up in front of school and I put her in park. And I said, hey, boys, I love you. And they said, see, Dad. I said, wait, hold it. I said, let me tell you what's going to happen here. I said, now you either tell me you love me in the car here, I said, or I'll let you get out on the sidewalk and I'm going to come around the car and I'm going to kiss you right in the mouth in front of your friends.
I bet they said okay.
Love you, Dad. See ya.
Aaron, I think we're about to get some food coming up here to the table. What do you think?
I think you're exactly right.
All right. Chad, thank you very much.
Oh, thanks for coming.
Well, you talk while we eat. You just go ahead and tell us about Rib City.
Well, we're a family-owned business here. We've been open about 9 years. Just enjoy making great food and great barbecue. And we do a lot of catering. We've done some events out at Aaron's place and done some catering for him out there.
Have you been in the restaurant business before Rib City?
No, this was our first venture as far as being a restaurant, for sure.
Well, I'd say you've mastered it. Aaron, you did well by inviting us over here to eat with you.
I had to show it off. Thanks for
I
coming.
would shake hands with you and Chad, but I got barbecue sauce all over them, and I plan to have some more on me before we finish. So I want to say thanks to Aaron Tippin for joining us over here, and Chad Westfall and the great crew at Rib City in Cookeville, Tennessee, right on I-40. You're going to leave a plate of bones, and you'll walk out slow. Guarantee it. I don't know how busy you are, but since you're clearly slacking off watching YouTube videos, you probably got the time to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell and the like button. That way you get updates on new videos.